If you are listening to sessions on YouTube and would like future episodes delivered right to your favorite podcast player, head to patreon.com/DGAF poker player and sign up for free. Then copy your personal RSS feed and paste it wherever you normally listen to podcasts. The podcast app on the iPhone, Spotify, wherever. If you would like to get 2 drops of sessions each week instead of just 1, upgrade to a paid member for $4.22 a month or more. Paid members get a lead up to each episode. Lead ups are private drops of sessions in which I share everything that goes on in my life when I'm not at the poker table. And according to hundreds of listeners, many of whom have been paid members since 2019, the lead ups are the juice. Sometimes they are dark, sad, maybe even painful. Other times they are funny, inspirational, perhaps even educational. No matter what, they always tell the story, my story. High Stakes Poker Pro hits rock bottom at age 43 and does everything he can to not only survive and provide for his kids, but hopefully rise once more against all odds. If you too want these lead-ups, which due to their raw and spewy nature are said to be perfect for commutes, workouts, walks, or just trying to fall asleep after a busy day, upgrade to a paid member. If you just want the poker shit, that's cool too. The poker shit will always be free. However, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that in addition to receiving a lead up each week, paid members also get full access to all 8 seasons of sessions, full access to my mental health podcast, Solicited Advice Podcast, plus membership to Patron Discord, the platform where listeners from all over the world go to have discussions and share their stories. They also play poker together, bet sports together with no vig, and some even buy pieces of me when I play poker with no markup. Many paid members listening right now would tell you that not only have they enjoyed endless audio escapes over the years, but they've also formed real, lasting friendships with other DGens on Patron Discord. To recap, if you want to listen to sessions on a podcast player moving forward, sign up for free at patreon.com/DGAF poker player, and then paste your personal RSS feed wherever you normally listen to podcasts. And if you want endless spew, plus interaction with other listeners from all over the world, upgrade to a paid member. Take a sip of water, we'll get into it. Week 36 of 50, Super-Nub. So it's around 9:30 p.m. on Sunday night, August 24th. Me and my buddy Darren got dropped off at the gardens in a limousine. I've been in a lot of limousines in my life, but not many lately. Flashback to 10 plus years ago, I used to take the Commerce limo everywhere. Dodger games, bowling, want to go play pickup basketball in Long Beach, you name it. And I've been in plenty of other limos in my life, but not lately. I've been on the grind for 8 years, and I'm fully on the grind lately. I have media day coming up at the Lucky Lady on Wednesday. And that is where the casino hires a film crew to come out. And typically they just get action shots of people going all in and whatnot. But I really want to make the most out of the resources. So I'm planning a full-on film shoot. I have 46 scenes that I'll be filming on Wednesday. And I want many people to get their own scene. And that's challenging to begin with, telling a story with 46 scenes while also accomplishing my main objective, which is to shine a light on the Lucky Lady Casino. And it's more challenging when you're talking about doing it with poker players, because if you've ever tried to organize a poker game, people are in, then they're out, then they're back in, then they're back out. And I've been working on this for weeks, coming up with the concept and the general story, and then plugging in people who have confirmed they're going to be there. And on this day, Sunday, I was really spazzing on it after going and watching my son win his championship basketball game down in San Diego and driving up and just working as fast as I possibly could. And then got picked up by Darren and his wife. Me and Miss Scorsese went to a nice dinner, but I just felt anxious and off because I've been going so hard on this project, this vision of a film shoot. I'm producer, director, actor, kind of like Clint Eastwood, but Clint Eastwood knows what he's doing, and I don't. I'm just going with a vision. So we had a nice dinner, but I have felt a little bit anxious and off, and I just haven't been sleeping much. And anyways, we walked in, and the floorman said, I'll start a new bounty game for you guys. And it's going to be a good game because Darren and I are going to make it a good game. And I am down to the last 2,500 in my stake. Started at 94.5. I earned for a while and paid that out. And then I went on a massive extended downswing, starting when I got it all in for 20K on Hustler Casino Live with 9-7 on 8-6-5 against Jack 5, no flush draw. For 20K each, 40K pot. And Magic the Dealer put a Jack on the turn, a 5 on the river. And that was the official doom switch. And I've just been running like shit ever since. And I did leave Hustler Casino Live for a while. And so that left the stake in a curious spot because it was intended for Max Payne Monday and Thirsty Thursday. But I had to leave. It just happened. And I've been playing in I'm back now as a commentator, but not as a player. And I've been playing in juicy games, but smaller games. And I've just been running lame for almost 2 years. And so from 94.5 down to 2,500, that's why I call this one Super-Nub. All right, we're going to start the game out with a bomb pot. They don't do double board PLO bomb pots. They do single board hold'em bomb pots. And I like it. It forces nits to put at least $25 in every so often. And I have 4-3 offsuit. Just, everyone's in there. I think it's 8-handed. And it comes 6-4-3 with a flush draw. And I bet. I bought him 2 pair. And someone with a nub stack, it's 200 to 800 buy-in. And I bought it for 800, but someone bought in for less. They jam. And someone else with a nub stack jams. And I obviously call. I think they both have draws. And the turn is a 7. And they both turn over a 5. And so this is just how I've been running. But the river's a 3. Whoa. I boated up. I got it in good, got sucked out on, and then re-sucked, if you will. And I'm up. I got a double up from these 2 nubs. So I'm up 800 right away, and this is what you want when you're down to it. When you're down to Super-Nub, poker, you could run it up quickly. I haven't experienced that in 2 years. In 2 years, I've had exactly 1 session where I ran hot, and that was when Pink was in town. And I think I won 20 despite losing a bunch flipping at the end with him, which I just needed to do. That's the only session in 2 years where I've just been the chosen one, if you will. And this is a good start. And then I just kind of go card dead for a while. And I'm in there with 9-7 in another bomb pot. And it comes 9XX, and Darren bets. And Darren is a wealthy guy, and he plays poker to have fun. And this game is small for him. And he's playing just about every single hand. And he's bluffing a lot. And he's just smiling, drinking, being funny, tipping the hell out of everybody. And I'm not folding top pair, even though it's 3 hearts out there. And then he bets again on a brick turn. And I decide I have to send it in against his stack. And he calls. He has king 6 offsuit with the 6 of hearts. So he's a 6-high flush draw and the river's a heart. Okay. Now I have to reload. Just street poker. It's rich guy poker. It's, got the money in. Good. We're not way ahead, but ahead. That's all you can do. You don't want to be folding the best hand because you're worried about someone having some equity when the money goes in. And just kind of card dead, and I look down at pocket fives, and Kay is a reg at the Gardens who really gets it. I'd commentated when she played on Max Payne Monday before. It's my first time meeting her and playing with her. She's fucking great. Her boyfriend's cool as shit. And there are some people at the Gardens I really like, and we'll add Kay to that group. And she's gambling quite a bit, and she makes it 200. And I just think she's a light, and I'm gonna send it in with pocket fives. But Darren goes all in out of turn. What? So now I have to fold, and Darren does go all in, and she's all in, I think, with like queen jack, and wins with like queen high. So that's just the butterfly effect there. Had he not gone all in out of turn, which he's just doing because he's drinking and not paying attention. There's nothing nefarious whatsoever about this guy. And it's just the butterfly effect. And then I'm like, I'm in the 8 seat, and I'm pretty tall, kind of long legs, and I lift my leg up a little bit, and my left leg gets stuck to the bottom of the table. Some motherfucker put gum under the table. That is a big time nit move right there, isn't it? And I'm dressed nice for me. Went to a nice restaurant, and I got gum on my pants. Fuck. All right, I'm just card dead. After a very promising start, it's gone the way it's been going for way too long. And finally get king queen. Here's a hand I can play. Well, someone raises and someone re-raises in front of me. I got to fold it. They both had ace king. Okay. Well, we take the cap off, and I'm just going to add all my chips on. It's just now or never. Just like, come on. You just can't run bad for, forever. And it's not adding on that much because I already got felted. So I have king, queen of hearts. No, sorry, king, queen of clubs. I 3-bet. Darren and someone else call. And it comes 7-4 deuce with 2 clubs. And Darren bets, and this is an all-in spot for me. And he calls, and we're going to run it twice. I turn over my hand, and he has 5-4 off. So he's been winning all sorts of pots. He's in every single pot. He's running hot, having fun. I'm in quite a bit, but not as much as him, and not really running hot. And I hit on both runouts. And I was down to it. I needed to. So I'm still alive. And then shortly thereafter, he took a hit that time, and now I have chips, and we find ourselves all in again. I have a straight flush draw, and he has top pair, and we run it twice, and I lose both. So 1 step forward, 1 step back. And the next hand of note is another bomb pot. I have king 9. It comes king 3 deuce with a flush draw. Someone bets. I call. Turns to 7. They bet pot. I just fold. It wasn't Darren. It was someone that's going to have king 9 beat very often when they take that line. And I just go through this series of small pots where I can't beat him. I 3-bet with ace 10 of diamonds. He calls out of position with king 8 offsuit, and I bet the flop, and the turn's a king, and I check, and he binks he binked the fucking king on the turn, and he's hitting gut shots when I have 2 pair, and I wrote down jack 10 offsuit. When you're running good, you look down at jack 10, you think, well, I might make top pair, open ender, top pair gut shot. I might flop 2 pair. I might flop a straight. When you've been running bad, you're going to flop absolutely nothing. It's just going to come ace deuce 6 every time. And I didn't flop anything. And you don't always flop something with jack 10, but it's just sometimes you should. And here we have another bomb pot. There's bomb pots for everything at the Gardens. It's a smart move to get, ramp up the variance, protect the worst players, and punish the nits. It's smart. I have ace deuce of hearts, and it comes ace 10 for 2 diamonds and a heart. And I bet 100 into 200. And someone calls. And it's a tighter player, but he could have 2 diamonds. And there's now 400 in the pot. And the turn's a 9 of hearts. And he could have draws, of course. And I have top pair, nut flush draw. And I bet 200, and he calls. And the river's an offsuit queen. I check, and he bets quite a bit. And I fold, and he shows ace queen offsuit. So he was just playing top pair, good kicker, cautiously in a bomb pot, which you will. And then he made top 2. And, that's just a hand that plays itself. You flop top pair and turn the nut flush draw. You bet half pot twice and check fold when you break, and someone seems strong, and they were. Another bomb pot, I have 9-5. It comes ace 9-5. I'm early position. I check, hoping someone bets. No one does. Okay. The turn's a 2 of spades. Now there are 2 spades out there, and the board is getting very wet. And I go ahead and bet, and Darren raises. This doesn't mean a ton to me. He would raise with infinite hands here. I call 2 pair, and the river is an offsuit 3, and I check, and he bets, and I fold, and he shows ace 4. So he slow played top pair. I slow played bottom 2. He picked up gut shot straight draw on the turn and raised after I bet. I called, and then he binked, and he had just hit another gut shot against me, and he can't miss. It's his night. He's the chosen one. And then a pro comes over that I've played with a couple times, and he says something. He just, table changes to our game. It's the good game. This is a bit pathetic. Like, don't table change to the good game. And if you do, come in contributing. Don't come, I get it. It's a public game. People just come to snipe a good game. It's annoying if you're the one making it a good game or your friend is. And he says something, and then Miss Scorsese, who's sitting behind me, and she hit it off with Kay, and she had a drink with her, and she says something back to him, and then he says something back to her, and I kind of go off on this guy. I've just had it. I've had enough. In life, I've had enough. I'm pushed to the edge. I've been at the edge for so long. I'm grizzled as fuck. And yeah, she shouldn't be saying something to the players. Let me do it. But she did. And then he said something, and I went off on this guy, and the floor just took him away. Get him out of here. And I don't know. It's just, haven't been sleeping much, feeling anxious, stressed, and, it's just one of those things. And then I flopped top pair, and Darren turned me again with 3 outs. He's just doing it. And it doesn't seem real when someone just beats you every hand. And then it's getting late. And there were 2 bounty games at the end. And, of course, our game's never going to break. The other one, it's going to break, and they're going to come over, and it's going to be like the pros, the nits. And this young guy is talking to another guy who's not really a pro, but he's a recreational player who's trying. And we're in this game, and Darren is being hilarious, and we're drinking, and he's tipping $300 a hand sometimes. He just can't lose. And it's a very good, cultivated game. And this guy's talking strat to this other guy. He's like, well, what's your favorite hand to have that's not actually the best hand, but is an equity favorite? I like this. In that one hand, I think you should have done it. And they're sitting to my right. And, I don't like this shit, and I really don't like it in this moment. And I said, you guys should get a fucking podcast, man. We don't really want to hear your strategy talk at this table. And the guy says something back to me. He's like, are you sure it's not just because you're sloshed? And then Miss Scorsese says something again, which I wish she hadn't, but she did. And then he says something to her, and I go off on this guy. And it was kind of a funny moment where he's like, I'm ready to go, man. I'm like, you don't know how hard my life's been for how long. And so he says, well, I'm going to let you live. And I'm like, pfft. And he says, I'm going to let you live because a lot of people I know respect you. I said, I guarantee you I don't respect any of those people. I said, name one. And he goes, Martin. Okay, I respect Martin. That's Mr. Purple Chip for you old school listeners. So it was a little bit of a funny moment in the middle of a toxic one. And it's just, it's not been my night. Sat down with, I had, maybe 3 buy-ins of 800, kind of doubled the first one up, got it in good, got sucked out on, resucked after, the money was long in. Then got it in good against Darren, got stacked, then got doubled by Darren, then he won both when I had the big draw again, and just can't really get anything going. I'm just getting rivered and turned, and I'm down to it. I think I have about 1,200 left, and the game's juiced up. It's 5, 5, 10, 20 mostly, unless it's a nits 20, then 20 won't be on. But mostly 5, 5, 10, 20. And I have queen 10, and it comes 10, 7, 4. And I bet, I was pre-flop raiser, I bet someone calls the other end of the table, and Darren raises. And it's go time. If I get it in, Darren calls, and I win, I'm going to have more than I came with. It's a double up plus whatever else was in the pot. And if I don't, I'm felted. The steak is toast. So, but you bet with queen 10 on 10, 7, 4, and it's dry. There's no flush draws. It's not always a get it in against a raise. It's strongly considered fold against a raise, but not when your opponent is a guy that owns a limo and takes it around anytime he wants to go out and has a lot of fun and has done incredibly well in life. It's all in time. And Darren calls. And I think the other guy at the table is all in for nub, but Darren calls. And it's 10, 7, 4, and I have queen 10. And we're just going to run it once because there's a nubber in there too. And the turn's a jack. And it's like slow motion. And the river, it's 10, 7, 4, all in, I don't know, a little less than 3K in the pot. 10, 7, 4, turn jack, river 8. My hand's already tabled. Darren turns over, 10, 9 offsuit. Made it straight. Okay. You know when you get on with aces against kings, or, any pair that's higher than the other pair and lose, it feels like a really bad beat. This is technically worse. This is 82% equity. And this has been the norm for me, not in every pot, but in way too many pots, for 2 years. And that Super-Nub is now zilch. And just touching on getting into it with some snipers that came to our good game. Yeah, no one sitting behind you should be saying anything. But if you say something, you're gonna get it from me. And especially if you come in just trying to snipe a good game. And that's public games. That's why public games are dying. And it takes a while to learn, I guess. I try to think back to when I was a new pro, 2007. Yeah, people didn't really like me. I occasionally caught some venom. One time at Ocean's 11 in I think it was a 10-20 game. Might have just been the 10-10, but I feel like it was bigger on this day. And I ran well against Scotty Lundgren. That's a Los Angeles poker legend, older than me. And I wasn't talking strat. I already learned to not do that. But I just was the new pro. Looked like a new pro. Smelled like a new pro. Dressed like a new pro. And he went off on me. And I turned to my friend who was also a new pro at the time. He went to get more chips. It was a big pot for, the game, and maybe like a 10, 15, 20K pot. I said, who's that? And it was Scotty Lundgren, who I became friendly with after. But my friend said, that's you in 10 years. The guy was drinking. He played too much poker, and he's just running fucking death. And he's not having it with these fucking new pros. And I laughed at that. And then it kind of became true. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, do I get out of line? I do. Do I have tilt issues? Absolutely. I'm up against it, and just working my ass off. It might not look like, it might not look tough, my life. It is very. And I don't sleep, and fucking buried in debt, just buried in makeup, now all the way in makeup. So, yeah, I just, if I'm going to play in a public game, I need to recalibrate before I sit down. It's not going to be a game where you can expect everyone to contribute to the game. Like the people that are going to play tight and solid, they better be chill. Be chill and you're fine. You can't be tight and solid and not chill. It's not how it works. That's why the games die. But I need to recalibrate if I'm going to. But also, if you're one of those people talking strat at the table, as exciting as poker is to you, it's only that exciting because you haven't played enough and because you've been running in the top quadrant for a while and you don't know it. You don't realize it. You have no idea how good you're running. You just don't until you're around long enough to see the other side, the bottom quadrant, where I've been fucking living for almost 10 years now, on and off. Had a nice run when I started playing on Hustle Casino Live, where I definitely was in the top quadrant again for a while, but overall in the bottom, and lately, last 2 years, definitely in the bottom quadrant of variance. That means, everyone has to fall somewhere on the variance spectrum. You only see the people in the top quadrant because those are the ones that keep playing. The other ones stop playing unless they're just absolutely entrenched in it. You see people disappear all the time from your player pools. Those are the people not running above the variance equator, if you will. And the ones you see all the time are always the ones that run in the top quadrant. You don't see the ones for very long that run below the variance equator, and then you just stop seeing the ones that run in the bottom quadrant for too long. Unless you're entrenched in it, unless you're a host and you have a poker podcast and you're a commentator and all your professional life revolves around poker, well, you still see me, and that's why I still saw Scotty Lundgren. He probably thought poker was easy for a long time, and it was, and he was considered the best player. And then he got unplugged, and it got frustrating. And, I'd see him, I still see him sometimes playing in smaller games, and the sparkle is missing from his eye. That new pro sparkle is missing from my eye for sure. And I just want to speak on that for a bit. You want to hear what happens next in the story? Do the backers reload? It would make sense that they would. I'm not going to push for it. I'm not going to ask for it. You feel horrible when you lose on stake. You feel terrible. But it's irrational because I didn't feel horrible or terrible or even that good when I was earning. And either way, you're just doing what you can do. You're going to play, and if you just can't be on the right side of variance, you're not going to win in today's games. The money goes in early and often. It's not how it used to be. The pots weren't bloated back in the day. Someone might raise pre-flop and that was it. 3-bet, oh shit, they got aces or kings, maybe ace king. And some players were. Alan Keating was doing that with other hands in 2008, and so was I, and so were some others. But the money didn't go in that early back then. So variance was just so much lower in general because a lot of it was the river play. Well, there are no percentages. It's either check mark or you lost on the river. But, that's not how the game's played anymore, and that's just how it evolved due to training sites and whatever else, and that's just what it is. But, yeah, you want to hear what happens next? Are they going to reload? I don't know. I'm going to ask them if they want to. Some are going to be upset. It's a group. I'm going to try to not take that personally when they get upset. I'm not very good at not taking things personally, but I'm going to try. And it's just, do you want to? You lost some money on this stake. You might have won a bunch on the previous one or whatever, but you lost some here. Do you want to chase it? You got the money in good. I promise you I'm a favorite when I play poker. I know what you have. I know what you think I have. That should be a pretty big advantage. It is. Doesn't matter. When the money goes in, you're good and you lose. Or you're just not flopping any sets. None. I tell you if I flop a set. When was the last time I told you I flopped a set? But, yeah, that's a decision that needs to come soon. And, I'd be fine either way. No, we're going to take our L. Okay. And that lets me off the hook for makeup. I wouldn't like that some people lost money on me, but it is gambling. Poker is gambling with an edge, but still gambling. I'd prefer they reloaded so I could make them their money back in profit, but I'm not going to beg for it. No, I'm not going to feel bad. I just fucked out. I'm sick of feeling bad about running bad. That's secondary anxiety in poker. So, you want to hear what happens next? You got to become a paid member at patreon.com/DGAF poker player. And if you just want the poker shit, I'll keep playing. I don't know how it'll look, but if you want the poker shit but don't want to listen on YouTube moving forward, well, go there to patreon.com/DGAF poker player and become a free member, and then copy and paste your personal RSS feed. Run through my goals real quick before we get out of here. 3 goals, 50-50 tilt. I was at 18 and 17 going into this week, and I 100% tilted at the Gardens. I went to that rage place that's common for grizzled vets to go to. Johnny Chan goes there. You see it on nights where he's not running good. He does. Just people, Scotty Lundgren used to really go there. I go there. I don't like it. I'm not proud of it. So I set a goal around it. I was at 18, 17. Now I'm at 18 and 18. Second goal, no makeup. I came in the year $61,810 in makeup. I've now felted the roll. I'm at $94,500 in makeup. And so, if they reload, I have a chance to get out. If they don't, that'll be a goal I didn't hit. Third goal is 230. I want to weigh 230 or less by the end of the year. Started at 247.3. Last time we checked, I was at 219.6. This time, 218.9. So I plateaued. I'm beating the goal, but I personally want to get to even more healthy level, weight, 51 years old. When you carry extra weight, that increases your risk of a lot of health issues, and I want to live a full life. I got to be there for my kids and, the other people that love me and I love, and that's the story for this week.